However, right now it is my happy privilege to turn the service over to our pastor, Sister Rose. Please welcome as she comes.
Yes, yes. I want to preach to you a little bit this morning. I was thinking when the Lord gave me this message a week or so ago, how many people sitting in here this morning can really say, I don't worry about it. I just do a little thing wrong here and there, but I don't really do a lot of wrong. How many people we got like that? I'm a good person. I'm a good person. I make some mistakes. Huh? Yeah, I make some mistakes. I'm not going to let you get away with it. Because the bottom line, the grace of God is sufficient for all of us. We don't have to have a little sin. We don't have to have a little. Because you know what? Sin never stays little. It just continues to grow and to grow and to grow. So at some point, you got to say, I'm going to have to get rid of this. So when I was reading the scripture, it says, watch for the little foxes. They destroy the vine. They come there and they work their way through, and sometimes you'll find these little foxes kind of chewing on the vines and whatever and messing things up. But too many times do we sit in the position where we tell ourselves, well, it's just a little thing. I just told a little white lie. But the scripture says all liars shall have their part in the lake of fire, which burneth with fire and brimstone. All liars. So you can't tell little white lies think that's okay. A little blue one, a little green one here and there. I don't really lie. I say some things sometimes because I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. Then don't say nothing. You shouldn't have to lie about it. How many times have I stood in a store and somebody came in to change clothes or to buy a new dress and come out of the dress room looking like who did it and what for? And they'd ask the salesperson, how does this look? That's not your dress. You should not wear that. You look horrible. But instead they would say, oh, you're gorgeous. And I'm sitting over the side of the room thinking, you better not ask me. Because if you ask me, I'm going to tell you the truth. You are not gorgeous. Just because a dress is pretty doesn't mean that it's pretty on you. See? So I stood there, and she looked over here. I thought, don't come over here, because I'm going to have to tell you that is not your dress. It does nothing for you. How many times have somebody come to you and ask you a question, and you just told them a lie? I didn't want to let them know I did that. No, be honest, because all liars go to hell. So are you in that category? You got to ask yourself, yeah, I'm in that category. That's what I do. I'm here to tell you this morning, little things in your life will continue to get bigger and bigger with time. Because sin is not something that we can isolate and keep in a certain position. We can't do it. We got to be able to say, free me of this thing. And that's why when Jesus came, he left it on record. I came that you might have power over sin, not justifying your sins, not saying it's not so bad. Well, you don't understand. Everybody makes mistakes. No, I don't understand that. Because can we not make mistakes? Sure. If we ask God, he said, in all your ways, acknowledge me. Ask me about what you should do. And then he said, I'll direct your path. So how can we go wrong if we do that? The fact is, God knows where we're at. He knows whether or not your heart's clean. Just face this situation and say, you know what? I need to pray and ask God to help me. We got churches all over this country that people are sitting every day and still calling themselves a Christian. Little things in your life are eating away at you. Over a period of time, they destroy you. How many times have somebody been diagnosed with cancer and it was just a small thing at the beginning? But they realize if we don't get rid of this thing is going to completely take over your body and your life. That's the way it is with sin. You cannot tell yourself, well, God understands. He does understand. But come on, he understands that I've given you power if you want to have it over all the sin. You don't have to walk that way. Don't minimize it. That's a problem. We minimize our wrong. Therefore, we don't feel like we need to do nothing about it. But, oh, yes, we do. So I just kind of say, well, I'm not going to worry about it. I said my prayers last night. Saying your prayers is not going to get it. That sounds like somebody who don't know how to pray when they say their prayers. Now lay me down to sleep. Pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. You know how you better pray that prayer? Now lay me down to sleep. If I die tonight, more than likely I'm going to hell. That's what you should be saying. If you got some little things there, oh yes. And if I should die and go to hell, what am I going to do? Think about it. But we've gotten to this position where we have so much given over to the things that's in our life rather than trying to get rid of them. I just won't worry about it. It's not really that big of a deal. Sin across the board is always a big deal. It will always mess up your life. It will destroy whatever future that you plan. It will mess up your marriage and send you on charades over here and over there and doing all this stuff. Stop for a minute and say, you know what? Where am I going with my life? Something is driving you. There's either good driving you or there's evil driving you. You're the one got to look at it and say, you know what? I need to get out of this. When you get a warning and somebody tells you this is a bad situation, this could cost you your life, and you say, I'm going to stay with it. Something is wrong with that picture. But when you get a warning that tells you, you better move on. You better change this. You better not go down that way. You better get rid of all these little things that keep coming up in your life, because little bit by little bit, they choke you to death. You can't continue down a path that leads you to the wrong place. And I'm letting little things just mount up in my life again and again. You know what? I don't care what's going on in your life. If you have a little bit of something, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, after a while it begins to build up. It begins to build up. You start off with something little, but after a while you keep. Sin is never a situation that you can say, well, this is all I'm going to do is this. The devil says, no, you're not. If you give me a place in your life in any form, I'm going to take advantage. You guys said, no, it's not going to happen to me. Listen to this. You must understand, when the devil starts out with man, he starts out with little things that maybe not as clear. With Adam and Eve in the garden, God said you can have all the trees in the garden, eat anything you want here. Why is man in a position that he can have all of this, but I want that one? Why? Why, if I can have everything else that's in this room, if one thing is over here, why do I want to have that? What's wrong with that? Curiosity gets us going looking at things. You got everything. Every tree in the garden is yours to do with as you will. But one tree, just one, don't eat of that tree. Because if you do, the day that you do it, you're going to die. You know what man does? He bites into the apple and he says, see there, I didn't die. Spiritually, it completely disconnects you from God. So, what is it about you that keeps driving you to the wrong place? God is sending a message to his people all the time. You better bring it in. You better bring it in, and they don't listen to it. You go to church on Sunday morning and you hear a message that's telling you better stop that. You shouldn't keep doing that. That's going to cost you somewhere. And you say, well, it's just a little something. It's not like I'm committing any great sin. Any sin is great sin. Any sin. Because it will eat you up like a cancer. You cannot just push it aside and say, that's okay. Any sin will do you a job. Where are you at this morning? You got to ask yourself, how many little things have piled up in my life over time that I excused and gave you a good reason why I couldn't do it. How many? And now I got this issue and that issue from one point to another. Think about it. Am I going to continue to do the same thing and be the same person? You can only be a different person if you choose a different route. But if you stay on the same place, for sure, you're not going to change. I was talking to somebody last night, and they got a family member that's in rehab. And I said, think about this. Rehab does not set you free. It brings you into a place, it tries to help you to get off the drugs. But the problem with it is that the change must take place in the heart. Unless a man or woman's heart changes, he cannot be a changed person. The same drugs that took him there going to get him when he go back out. The same alcohol that you drank for years, if you don't give God your life, you're going back to that. You say, well, I think I'm doing pretty good. I've been sober now for 6 weeks. We're talking about a lifetime here. We're not talking about a temporary change or a temporary fix. God's got to fix you good for once and for all. Yes. It's going to eat you and eat you and eat you. You know, when the devil came to get Peter, he didn't do anything big. But Jesus said to him, he said, Satan, the devil, desires to sift you as wheat. That means take all the good things out of you. He desires to sift you until there's nothing left. And I don't know if some of you old enough to have come up with, when I come up with, if you made a homemade cake, you always had to sift it. So they put the flour in the sifter and they shake it and shake it. And when it first started coming out, it's just like a dust. But if you keep on shaking that and shaking it, after a while they get a mound like this of flour. And so that's what the devil does to you. He starts shaking you and you get a little bit of dust. And he shakes some more. And he keeps on until by the time he finishes with you, there's nothing good left. And then you wonder why I'm such an evil person. Why am I always messing up? Why am I always over here and over there? What's wrong with me? There is a force and a power in your life that is taking control. You're only going to get out of that if you let God control your life. He's the only one that's got the power to change it. You can't keep making excuses for it and think that's going to be okay. It's not going to be okay. Think for a minute. Where do I want to go? What do I want to do with my life? All of us had some kind of plan from the time we became adults where we wanted to go and how we wanted to live our life. The sad thing about it, we get off on the wrong track. And if that plan that you made didn't include God, you wasn't going to make it anyway. You can't plan your life without God. You have to plan your life with him. Be right there in the middle. God wants to do something. You know, I look at people, my heart goes out to them because I'm thinking, you're on a bad road, and you know what? You don't even know how to get off of it. Let the Lord speak to your heart today and say, I'll help you. I'll give you strength. I'll change your life. You don't have to stay here. Yes. So, listen to this. I see them advertised sometime on TV about termites. I've never had my house checked for them. Those termites dwell in certain places. And when I had my grandson to pull me up some information about the termites, it's amazing how little they are and how much damage they do. And they travel in colonies, a lot of them together. But if you get one termite, you look at it, it's a real tiny little bug. And you know what? It will eat your entire house up while you're walking around in it thinking your house is safe. You walk in there one day and step on the floor, the whole thing caves in. What's wrong with this? Termites are there, but they're so little. But because they travel in colonies, there's a lot of them. And they do so much damage. They can eat up, I forget how much wood they can eat in a matter of time. That's the way the devil is. He's like that little termite that gets into your life and begin to edge away on all the good and leave you with the bad. And after a while, you get up one day thinking, I'm going to get it together, and suddenly your whole life goes down. Your whole life caves in. You got to stop for a minute and say, wait a minute, what's going on with me? You find yourself frustrated and aggravated and depressed and all these things that happen to people when they're away from God. If you go to God, it'll change all of that. It will change that. You don't want to continue to live that way. Eventually, you got to get rid of those termites. You got to get rid of them, or they're going to get rid of you. Sometimes they get in trees and eat trees up. You got to stop and say, you know what? I keep telling myself all this stuff, but I keep making reasons for it, but I'm not getting any better. I'm getting worse. So as much as I can talk about this thing and try to deal with it on a day-to-day basis, I find myself in a place like, what's wrong? I told you, maybe all of you didn't hear this morning, I was a terrible person, very mean, very, very mean. I didn't like nobody. I was a mean girl. I think where it all started from was the fact I had so many questions and nobody answered it. So I wanted to know why we're treated different from these people. Why are they doing this and we don't do that? Why is it that when I go to school as a little girl that I'm laughed and mocked at? Why is that? I go home and say, what's wrong with us? People make fun of us. They call us the poor kids. Even when we had to go to try to get some type of clothes from the office that they kept there, and they give us a little striped shirt and some little socks, and I hate striped shirts to this day. If you got on one, I don't mean no harm. I looked straight across that, and that man had a striped shirt. Because every time they gave us something, it was a little striped shirt. They gave us some Snuggies. You said, what is that? That's pennies with long legs. And I wanted to understand if somebody could tell me, why are we different? Why do I look over here and I see this, and why do I look over there and see that? What is it? Then I start getting this feeling that somebody don't like us. Why don't they like us? What did we do? Didn't understand it. I was very curious as a young girl, always asking why this and why that. Well, what's going on? I wanted to understand. When I became about 14 years old, I was very, very bitter. And every time somebody would say, I would say, so why are you treating us like that? Are we that bad that you're doing this to us? It made me fight back. I became too much of a fighter, beating up people in school, cursing, mad at the world, and I couldn't get out. But when I went to him, he got me out. I said, God, I just want to be normal. I want to be treated like everybody else. Why is there a difference? But when I found Jesus, he changed my life. He made the difference in my life. So everything that's eating at you today started somewhere. And I guarantee you it's a little something that started just ate at you, and you kept telling yourself, I don't know what this is, and you get angrier and angrier about it. See? But when I was 17 or 18 years old, I decided I got to get out of here. I can't continue in this horrible hate, this feeling of nobody really cares.
Thank God you woke up.
Yeah, I did. And he changed my life. But he'll do the same for you if you want it. You know, we all have some issues. Every person in this building have issues. We got some things that just eat at us and eat at us. And I need to get rid of this. Don't listen to demon power that talks to the minds of people, and lots of them. and tell you lies about this and about that when they're not true. The more he lies to you, the more you believe it, the more he destroys you. I looked at William up here this morning. I said, well, look at him. The devil got his mind on you were gone. They were just singing the song. I thought, boy, you better tell the devil, get off my shoulder. I don't need to hear this garbage. I mean, this man was gone. I'm sitting on the pulpit. Wow. In church, and he ain't here. He has a body sitting on the pew. He ain't here. Just like some of you. You sitting on the pew, but you ain't here. Because there's so many things on my mind. That's what I know. I thought when you fall in love with God, ain't no time for that stuff. The devil don't talk to people who don't want to be talked to. The little thoughts that go through your mind. And you sat there this morning saying, what is she talking about? I'm talking about something you need to hear. So it'll change your life. You don't have to stay the same. Think about it. So, as I look at this situation, I realize that it takes just a little leaven to leaven the whole lump. And you know what leaven is? I used to make homemade rolls. I stopped making them. Niecy makes them once a year. But we used to make homemade rolls, and you put a package of yeast, which is leaven, into the mixture. Now check this out. The leaven is not even this big. It's a little pack, a real small pack with a few grains in it. But listen to this. You pour that in some water, and then after a while, you're going to put your shortening and all this stuff. You're going to mix it up. Now, it starts out with a little ball of dough about like that. Honey, by the time you come back that evening, the dough has risen to such a level and literally coming over the side of the bowl. But oh my God, was them some good rolls. In the day, oh, wow. I had to quit cooking them. You just can't eat that stuff. And you roll them babies out, and you lay them out on the counter, and you roll that out, and you start taking your little cutter and cutting them out. Now, they about that, when you roll them out, they about like that. Go away for a little while. Come back, them babies are standing pretty and say, I will make you fat as a pig. Oh, are they good? You put some hot butter in the middle. Get you a little grape jelly or preserves, whatever you like. Oh, my God, you just have. And it's so light. But, boy, it's going to show up on you somewhere. Just because they're so light, you ain't getting full real quick. And get another one. And I get another one. And I get another one. Keep on doing that if you will. But look how it started off with a little tiny pack of yeast. So it takes a little sin in your life to make you like this. A little thing wrong will mess you up. I need to get it straight. I am tired of life. I just want to be different. I want to be my own man, my own woman. And the way you go about trying to be that is a mess. And it looks so bad. And you said, all I want to do was just be my own person. You know why you see people with tattoos and earrings and all this stuff? They are talking about, this is my identity. I don't want to look like you. I want to look like the way I want to look. If society says do it this way, no, I don't want to do it that way. You cannot go into corporate and expect to get a job. And I'm going to talk to black first, and I'll be here to the white. They're not going to let you into that job with braids all over your head. As a man, think about it. You have to change something. I didn't change nothing. This is me. Or you going to walk around looking like a bum till me die. That's right. You got to conform. You got to change some things. And you wonder why they back off. They can't identify with you. You say, this is me. We're living in a white society. You can like that or not, but it's true. We are minorities and will always be. So what do I do? What are changes I have to make? No, I got my own little thoughts and stuff going on. This is who I'm going to be. You don't have to give me a job where you walk around and be broke and don't have no money. Back in the day, black people had afros like this. And what they stuck in their hair was a bread cutter. I said, I never did like afro. So you look at these people and you think, come on. Where are you on your way to? Where are you going? People can't sit behind you and see somebody else. It's true. But we pick up these little things that prove to people that I am what I am. I'm not going to convert because of you. Well, you're stuck then. You're stuck. But I think it's not so much as you become white society, because we're going to be black till we die. But I can fix myself to a point that somebody understands me. I don't understand this. I can't relate to it. Our language is different. I told you about Sister Ledbetter when she came to my house and I bought her a suit to wear, and 2 or 3 of them, she kept trying them on, and I said, oh, Sister Ledbetter, that's a bad one there. She said, oh, honey, do it look bad? I said, oh, no, that's black people's bad. We say, you look bad, girl. That don't mean you look bad. That means you got it going on. But the white race don't know what bad is. What do you mean? She's told me I look bad. They could go away offended. And I explained to her, no, that's what we mean when we say that's bad. That's not. But I'm trying. You know the biggest problem with us today? We don't know each other. We don't understand each other. Blacks don't always understand whites don't always understand blacks. So we already come to this point that, okay, here I am, but I don't know where you come from, where you going, who are you? Because I've allowed myself over a lifetime to continue to pick up little things until I told myself, this is who you are. And it's destroying your life. Because what you think is going to make you this full person doesn't even exist. You got to change it. Make some changes. Well, I ain't getting ready to change nothing for nobody. You are plain stupid. Everybody makes changes. Everybody has to make changes. If we stay in one place from the time we were little kids and stay that way, God forbid, help us, God. Look at your life today. Say, what's eating at me? What? And it don't take much for all of a sudden for you to just lose it. You say, what's wrong with them? All of a sudden they just fly off the handle. They get real angry real quick. You talking just as nice one time? Yeah, that's true. What's going on? What do you mean by that? I'm glad I got out. But understand, all this anger inside. I'm mad. And it doesn't take much for me to let it all out. Get rid of the little foxes that's eating your life away piece by piece and leaving nothing there. And you trying to say, well, this runs in my family. I don't want to be crazy because my family's crazy. I want to be my own person and know what I'm doing and doing it right. But you ain't going to know until you get with God. When you get with him, everything changes. See, if you say, well, there's some things I'm willing to make some sacrifices for and give up. Okay, you don't want to give them all? No, I ain't giving everything. There's some things I'm going to keep. I don't care who don't like it. Those are the things you need to get rid of. The things that you're going to keep. The little things that's destroying everything about you. Then we say, ain't nobody friendly to me. You're not friendly. The word says if a man wants friends, let him first show himself to be friendly. Show yourself to be friendly. If I come around you and I'm talking to you and you say, did you have anything to say? You're going to soon leave that person. And sometimes I look on people's face, they don't even go there. Don't even go there. What's ticking inside of you like a bomb that's waiting to explode? All of a sudden, one day everything goes crazy because it kept building up and building up and building up over time. We need to build up with good and more good and more good over time. That's what we need in our lives. The only person who can change you is God. We don't have the power to do it ourselves. But we can go to God and say, Lord, here I am. Fix me. Fix me. You know, this is a saying among a lot of black people, especially from the ghetto where I was from the hood. Honey, she trying to act white. What is that? She's trying to act white. That's because you spoke good English. You can tell, honey, she's trying to be white. You can't be white and black. It doesn't happen. Stop for a minute and say, you know what? I'm not trying to be anything. I just want to do the right thing. And let me tell you, right thing don't always give you a blessing either from other people. They don't agree with it. They look at it like, yeah. If you want to be loved and be nice, I mean, people treat you nice and put their arms around you and say, I care about you, you're going to have to open the door and let them in. You got so much junk in there. You need to start throwing out some stuff, cleaning house. I got all these things inside of me. I don't want this junk. Still hold on to. You seen the show that comes on TV sometimes is about hoarders? That's where your life is. You can't get around in it. You can't do nothing. The stove, you don't know you got a stove because it's covered. You don't know you got a bed. It's covered. Everything is a mess. That's the way a lot of people's lives are. But just because you clean up your regular house, look at that. Inside of you, how much stuff have you hoarded over the years? And won't throw it away. And won't, well, I remember when she done this to me, and I remember when he said that. Let it go. Let it go. Because the more you think about it, the more you talk about it, I'm never going to forget it. Let it go. Get a grip. I'm thinking about how great life I got now. I don't care what they did to me when I was a kid. My sister said the other day, I remember when Uncle Ed would punch you in the stomach. I said, I don't even remember that. Because I fought Uncle's back with my fists. I don't remember it. And so she said, I thought, oh, got to let it go, let it go, let it go. I need to move on. I put too much stuff in here. I'm stored with all this garbage. Nobody wants to keep garbage around because it smells. That's the same way it is with your life. When you got garbage on top of garbage, get rid of it. You can't change what happened to you yesterday. You can only make it for today. But if I live in yesterday, I won't have joy for today. I won't have joy. I want to be happy. Most people want to be happy. You can't be happy living 10 years ago. I still remember that to this day. You remember that girl? You remember that? No, I don't. And I thank God I don't remember it. It's not going to help me. If I can remember and reminisce on good things that happened to me, that's good. But to reminisce on bad, no. Doesn't change you. I hope this morning that you will listen to this message and say, I need the house clean. I need to go inside and ask God to help me to get rid of all this stuff. Who treated me bad? I remember a third grade teacher, and I talk about it sometimes. I remember her, Miss White. There was a little black girl sitting in front of me, but she didn't look black. She looked white, but she was black. And her hair was beautiful. And I sat in the back seat behind her, rubbing on her hair. I thought, God, this is the prettiest hair. Because our hair was kinky as all. We had African hair, no doubt about it. And I'm looking at this thinking, oh, my God. She called me to the desk. Rose Liddell, come to the desk. I go to the desk. She slapped me so hard till I was cut out of it. And she said, don't you ever touch her hair again. And I said, I just thought it was pretty. Third grade. Some things impact you, but they don't destroy you. Some things you remember, but it didn't define me. Where are you at? When I was a kid, I was abused. All of us somewhere got some abuse one way or the other. Somebody called your name that wasn't yours. Yeah. Somebody done these things. And I want to be happy. I can't be happy if I dwell on all that stuff. My grandmother used to call us little demons of the earth. She was saying, I love you. That was her language. I understood it. Come here, you demon of the earth, running around here. I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm not going out there, spend my whole life, I'm a demon of the earth. I'm a demon of the earth. I don't believe that. Do you know what's hurting you? It's what you believe that's crazy. The crazy things that you truly believe is messing up your mind, your life. So I need to get a break. And then here's what psychologists tell you. Well, you don't want to do that. You want to be careful what you say to your kids because you can mold them for the rest of their lives. My grandmother and them calling me names didn't change me one bit. That all depends on the person. They take a call. People didn't take many pictures. They took pictures of it. We look just like this. There wasn't nobody smiling. I took pictures of my kids. They're smiling. Babies laughing. We didn't know what that was. I'm not that way anymore, and I'm not going to keep things that continually make me that way. Get rid of it. You learn from it, or you can let it define you for the rest of your life. You can be a nutcase till you die. You can say, no, I don't want to do that. I want to be what's good. I want to have friends. I want to have people who care about me. You can have that. You can have it. But you got to get rid of all those little things that's now piled up to look like a big stack. You can't see good. You can't hear good. You can't get it together. All this stuff, where did it come from? I made room for it in my life until I ran out of room. You become a hoarder. Literally hoarding stuff that alters your life. It puts you in a position where God wanted to make it different, but you wanted to be you. Let God change you. He makes you into a new person. I talked to Denver one day at my house some years ago, and believe this or not, he always was told things that were negative to him. You know what it caused him? A humpback. That come from because everybody told him he wasn't worth nothing. No, baby. If you're going to fight, fight. Don't let somebody turn you into a humpback. Bent over, won't look up. I tell my kids this day, when you're talking to people, look them in the face. You don't have any reason to bow your head. Look them in the face. Say what you need to say, or else people will destroy you. You hear somebody say, boy, you're an ugly thing. Look in the mirror and say, I ain't that bad. There's some more people worse than me. I'm thanking God I got what I got. That's right. Oh, because you know what? With all the people in this room this morning, everybody got some good stuff in them. We just got to go in there and throw out the bad stuff and pull it all to the front. It's amazing. When I preached at the prison down in Florence for 5 years, I found a lot of inmates were very, very talented. One played with our group on the guitar, and I'm telling you, and they draw pictures and do you saw all kind of talent. But if you let the prison system engross you in such a way until you don't believe you're no good. I mean, you believe you're no good. You believe this is where you should have been. And many of them come to me and say, Sister Rose, I shouldn't be here. What happened? They lied on me. Now I understand. I understand how much they lied. The system itself, it did it to our family. So yeah, I know they lied. But do I let that restrict me from being able to reach up and say, look, I'm going someplace. I may not can see it yet, but I'm going someplace. I'm going to get rid of some things. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. You don't have to be that way. See? Oh. Paul said, if anybody else come preaching to you any other gospel, don't believe them, because if you believe the lie, you become a lie. You stay on course. I got this, it's good. Hold on to it. Don't let people shove things into your life that takes away your strength and your worth. So I can't have this. I just can't have it. Don't believe what people tell you about yourself. If you believe something good about yourself, nobody else can get in there. But if you let people define you and you hook up with it, you're in trouble. Because the person that told you you wasn't no good, they'll always tell you that. You can go out and accomplish something, they'll just say, you ain't no good, man. Well, you keep thinking that, buddy. Keep thinking that. That's not for me. Take a stand. Say, you know what? I got to get rid of this little stuff that I've never paid any attention to that keeps eating me away. Tired of it. You have to get tired of it. I want to be different. I want to go places. I want to live my life good. You ain't going to get there if you don't clean house. Take all the junk out. Go to the Lord and say, Lord, cleanse me. Make me whole. Help me to become what you destined me to be, not what people say that I am. I want to be like you. You're my Father. You care about me. You made me. And God never made anything that he didn't get glory out of. Think about it. I got to clean up. Because I guarantee you, if somebody could sit down with you and talk to you, the stuff that would come out would start like this, and now it's like that. I just kept thinking about it, and thinking about it. No, stop thinking about that stuff. So let's move on. People like to bring up old garbage. I don't want that stench in my life. I want to be different. I want to be somebody. When I look in the mirror, I like what I see. You got to like you first. Don't wait on somebody to tell you that you're good. You got to do that, because you got a clean house. Remove the cancer. There was a man in the church, in the Corinthian church. He was in the church. He was having sex with his father's wife. And the church was walking around like they was, they all pure and clean. And Paul said, shame on you. How in the world can you see this in the church and let it stay there? It's got to move out. Take that cancer, he said, it's in the church, move it out. So a lot of times when people put somebody out, the church says, you put somebody out, they're a cancer. It takes one person to contaminate everything in this building. So you have to say, that's not going to work here. You can't do that. We won't accept that. Clean it. If you're a parent this morning and you got some children, if the oldest child began to break the rules, all the rest will follow. Unless you as a parent say, you're not going to do this here. And then show that there are consequences for it. And now the consequence is I'm going to beat your rear end. Do it again if you will. You're not going to do this in the house because everybody else is going to follow you. Young siblings always follow older siblings. And you as a parent got to say, no, you can't do it. You're a bad example for your brother or your sister. You can't do that. I want you to please think while I'm preaching this message, how can I get out of here? How can I get out of this place? It's not a good place. How do I get out? I used to say when we lived in the hood, one day I'll get out. I didn't have any idea how to get out. Nobody around me was getting out, so what made me think I would get out? I believed it. I believed that. Calling me a demon of the earth just made me fight. I'm not staying here. I got to get out. I got out. And I feel for people who are there and cannot get out or haven't got enough courage to say that I will get out. And some of us that came out need to go back and reach in there and pull some of them out. Say, I got out, you want to get out, I'll help you. You know what's wrong with that? Sometimes they say, I'm happy where I'm at. No, you're not. I mean, you get, in the ghetto, you might get shot taking a bath. The man below us was cooking his family breakfast and got shot in the bag in the kitchen, minding his own business. You this morning, do not define your life by your family. My mother was this way. Well, why can't you be different? Why can't you pick it up and say, wait a minute, I'm getting out of here. I don't want to be this way. I don't care how many family members is that way. I don't want to be this way. When I went back home after traveling a while with my husband in the military, my brother said to me, I was very close to Robert, and Robert said to me, where's Rose? I said, what do you mean, where's Rose? You're not my sister. I said, I'm a better person. You don't seem like Rose to me. What happened to her? I thought, thank God she died. Thank God she ain't here no more. Thank God it's a different place. Yes. He passed away a few months ago. I was saddened because we were very close at one point. Was I saddened by it? Yes. Did I stay unhappy and pressed down and just your mind, you tell me I'm my brother. Honey, go on. The things and people that we think we need in our lives, wake up. You realize, I don't have to have you. You can do great things with God without them, but if you start making them the reason for my happiness, the reason I feel good about myself is because of you, no. Go in there. Get all those little things for all these years that you said that they're just a little something. It's grown out of control. Think about it. While our singers and musicians are coming forward, if you're sitting there this morning and said, Sister Rose, will you pray for me? I'd like to be different, but I'm not. I will pray for you. And will God help you and change you? He will. He will. Give him a chance. Yes. In just a minute. Hold on, okay? Just a minute. The singers and the musicians are going to be playing. They want you to come forward and say, I'm coming for prayer. I'm coming for something new, something different in my life. I need God to empower me. That's what you need. So while they're singing and playing, I want you, if you want prayer, I will be here waiting. Just get in this line. There will be another minister on this side. You can get in that line, and we'll pray for you. And you got to say, God, I want to be different. I don't know how all this stuff works, but I'm coming to you and ask you to help me anyway. God bless you.